Hello everybody, I'm InTheLittleWood, also known as Martin, and welcome back to the channel. And also, welcome to 2017. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, holidays, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate, it's all good. But welcome back. As always on this channel, I like to do a little video at the beginning of January, just to let you know what my plans are for 2017. I've seen a lot of other YouTubers doing like New Year's resolution videos, and I kind of wanted to do the same. But before we get into that, I think it would be really cool to revisit 2016, because it was an absolutely mental year for me, and I just kind of wanted to recap some of the cool things that I've done. So here are 25 things that I did in 2016. First thing, I fired up the second channel again. I started off again with my weekly vlogs. Yeah, that's my finger in someone's mouth. Ugh. I think that's the only time I've ever sweated at a movie premiere. So even though those vlogs were relatively short-lived, they were some of my favourite bits of content that I created last year, and they might be coming back. Thing number 2, I dressed up as a mime, and surprisingly really liked it. And not only did I do it for that video, I actually dressed up as a mime on stage at Gadget Show Live in Birmingham. The third thing that I did last year was play Dungeons & Dragons for the very first time. I jumped on to the High Roller stream where I got to play as Falk, who's this no-shirt wearing, potion slinging, the look giving half-orc, and I absolutely loved that. And kind of riding on the back of that one as well, later on I got to play as Alfred Everstar in Kim's Halloween special. The fourth one is just a personal achievement of mine. We get onto some slightly more impressive ones soon, but look at this shot that I got at mini golf.
That was pretty good. Oh my god!
Thing number 5 of the year was me and a bunch of friends got signed up by Tomahawk to go and do the Monster Race, which is a 5-kilometer run through the woods, and it had various different obstacles. And I'm talking mud, I'm talking barbed wire, I'm talking freezing cold water that induces panic attacks, and climbing frames so high that you get a little bit of vertigo when you look off the edge.
Here we have the indigenous Martinus gliding down the hill like a majestic swallow during a mating dance.
But we completed it together, there was an awesome water slide at the end, and we raised tons of money for special effects. Thing number 6, I started a brand new project called Couch Potatoes. Now, of course, that was relatively short-lived because somebody bigger on YouTube took the idea and sort of stomped us into oblivion. But I'm really excited to say that that's going to be coming back in the next couple of weeks, actually, in a live stream format. But everything from the branding to the artwork to the jingle, just everything about it, I absolutely adored. I feel like this is really important story stuff. Oh, and then I pressed A!
I was gonna say, like, nobody's gonna be able to hear it over us talking anyway, and then you just skipped it.
Yes, it was inspired by people like the Game Grumps and Super Best Friends and all those other types of commentary channels, and it was just so nice to create the content that I so frequently consume. Thing number 7 was Comic-Con in London. Now, it's not just because I went to Comic-Con, this was actually a bit of a breakthrough point for me. When we did the evening show, which was called like the Super Action Power Show or something, I decided that I was going to get a little bit more brave and a little bit more like out of my comfort zone in terms of trying to crack jokes and trying to be funny and just trying to be a personality on stage. And I did everything from making myself a crop top to dressing up as Sailor Moon, cracking jokes about Batman that were really dark, and it all seemed to go down super well, and you were all really supportive and had a good laugh with me, and that was such a changing moment for me in the year. Thing number 8, you would probably have never heard of if you don't follow me on social media and saw the 1 or 2 little pictures that we posted, but I went go-karting for the very first time, and these weren't little electric ones, these were proper petrol ones with like hills to go up, massive bends to slide around. I had such a blast at that thing. Thing number 9, I went to Ireland for the very first time to attend Insomnia Island. So we went over to Killarney, the event was really fun. I even went out of my way as well to produce a bit of stage content because the systems weren't working that they had in place, so we had to come up with something new. So in the space of 10 minutes, I got my little producer hat on, came up with some games and some ideas that the guys could play on stage, and they went up there and did it, and it was a success. My little boy, Hercules! Come on, Hercules, you can do it. I believe in you, baby.
Give me a hand, Tom.
He's trying his best.
I'm halfway there. I've done all the way.
So, there's my model. Look at that. There's the work. It's not bad, right?
That's actually really good. I thought it was going to be rubbish.
Oh my god.
What do you reckon?
Oh my god.
Thing number 10. I got to go to Windsor to the Nintendo offices in the UK to check out Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that whole day was just really special for me. Not only because I got to play Zelda so early and for so long as well. I got to play that game for something insane like an hour and a half, but just generally getting to go to the offices, meet the people that I've emailed with so frequently, and even getting some demonstrations of games that are coming out in the future. It was such a fun trip. Thing number 11 just about works. I like it. The release of Pokemon Go. That for me was really special. Not only because the videos on the channel did well and the community and the sense of that was so strong. We went to Bath one day as a little trip. It was myself, Hannah, Kath and Sparkles. We're gonna get run over. Oh god. And then it actually ended off with a special meet and greet, like a special meetup. We just randomly tweeted out where we were gonna be. We put some Learn modules down and tons of you turned up. And it was just like a little Pokemon Go picnic. Thing number 12, Starry Eyes. We went to Portaventura. So Portaventura is a Spanish theme park. We went there and we actually did some really cool stuff. So we were followed around one of the days. So it was myself, Nettie, Kath and Hannah. We got followed around by a film crew, and I've never really done that kind of official video work before. It's always been selfie cameras and maybe a DSLR camera at the most, but these were the big ones. There's a separate guy holding a massive microphone. It was the real deal. But the rides were great, the crew were great, and the whole trip was just fantastic.
Martin has decided to give it a go.
Number 13. Oh, stay down, you. 13. I went to Insomnia in Birmingham. So of course all the Insomnias are pretty big, but the one in August is always massive. It's the big summer one. And continuing on with this trend of the year of me sort of trying to be more confident and trying to put myself out there more, I was really chuffed with the stage piece that I did. I want to say it's probably the best stage piece that I've ever been a part of. It was myself, Hannah, Kath and Terps, and then up there with us was Minilad, Terrorizer and Syndicate. And I just went for it. I was just like shooting Nerf guns, jumping over the sofa, having banter with both sides of the stage, banter with the crowd as well. I just came off of that with such a massive buzz. I was so proud of myself and everyone that I worked with on that. It was really awesome. Number 14. Kawaii. I chased down a car thief. Yep, that's a real thing that happened. It was actually the #1 liked picture on my Instagram for the entirety of 2016. But long story short, we were loading our bags into the back of this sort of minivan people carrier, and we start to notice the suspension goes, and we're like, what the hell? So we look over, and there's a guy sat in the front of the car trying to turn the engine on and take off with the vehicle. So when we obviously shout at him, the guy gets out and starts running, and he's got a good 15 meters on me at this point, and I'm just like zoned out. I'm like, whoa, is this really happening? And then suddenly I just hear someone go, stop him! And I just bolted. So I chased this guy down. He's trying to run like in a swerve to try and get me to like slip over or something, and I finally managed to catch up with him like pretty quickly as well. I've never run that fast in my entire life, and he like jumps over the fence. I managed to grab him, and that throws off his balance and he like hits the floor, and then like he starts like egging me on to come through, and I noticed that he'd reached for something by his hip, so I was like, yeah, no mate, like I'm good. I'm alright. The red mist is cleared. You've potentially got a weapon and you're egging me on, and we've still got the keys, our bags, and nobody's harmed, so you know, scurry along. But that whole thing was just one of those fight or flight moments, and I never in a million years would expect that I would do that, but I did, and I was like, whoa. Thing number 15. I hosted the costume contest at Minecon 2016 in Anaheim, California. And the reason this was a bit more special this time around is because I actually had time to prepare for it. Last time it was a case of I got a phone call 10 minutes before the panel asking if I wanted to be a guest judge. Then I got bumped to co-host, and then I became main host. This year I was told a little bit of in advance, probably only about a day or two sooner, that I was actually going to be on stage as part of it, and I was also part of the closing ceremony as well. And there were thousands of people watching this online. There were thousands of people in the crowd. Minecon as a whole was just such a special thing. I'm not as nervous anymore. I was like, there's going to be a lot of people, but as long as the lights are on me, I can only see about 10 rows back.
Yeah, you can't see too far back.
It seems to go quite a way though. Hi everybody at the back. Hello, there we are.
Okay, now I can see them. Wow.
This is...
Wow.
This is really special. Wow.
Wow.
Thing number 16 was going to my first ever baseball game. So this was completely by chance. I stayed in a villa with a load of other YouTubers when we went to Minecon, and we thought, okay, today we're going to chill out. We've worked all weekend. We're absolutely exhausted. Let's just have a pool day. So we get in the car, the Uber, to go to Walmart, and the driver mentions on the way that there's a baseball stadium nearby, and we were like, oh, cool. Like, can we swing by and just, like, have a look at it? And then he was like, you do realize they're playing tonight? And we were like, no way. Like, the timing was just so cool. So we actually ended up going in with the guy that was our driver. We bought a load of tickets. We bought a load of merchandise. I got this horrendous dad shirt. And then that night we went to go and watch the Anaheim Angels play, and they actually got a grand slam. So if you don't know what that is, that's when all the bases are loaded. So there is a player from your team on base 1, 2, and 3. And basically the guy that was batting got a home run. All 4 of the guys get in. There were fireworks, beer spilled everywhere. My nachos went all over my legs because I just jumped up in a panic, and it was just so cool. Thing number 17. There we go, 17. It's almost old enough to drink. I went down to San Diego for the very first time, and I attended the second ever TwitchCon. I went to the first one. It was really cool to be able to go to the second one, and I got up to all sorts there. I got to play the brand new ukulele demo, which I was super stoked about. I got to try out the Omni treadmill virtual reality thing. You know, the one where it's like a baby bouncer but for grown people? That was a thing. And as well as that, I got to do a meet and greet in the streamer alley, which was really awesome. Thank you so much to anybody who came to say hi there. And I was also on a panel as well, talking about partnerships. Boom, 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 boom. Number 18. I got to go and visit one of the sets from Game of Thrones. I managed to go to Winterfell. That's where the Starks are from. My name's Jon Snow. I'm a bastard. 100,000 men are coming over the wall. Mance Rayder's got an army, and the White Walkers, they're right behind him. But no, that was really cool. So myself, Nettie, and Tom went up to the Winterfell set. We got to do a bit of archery, and we even had a little competition amongst ourselves as well to decide who would get their head chopped off on the chopping block at the end of the day. I did okay, Tom did the best, but Nettie did the worst, so he got the privilege to cut off her head. And the little extra bonus thing from that day as well was the fact that I was the only person that was given a different sword rather than a generic one. And he basically held it up, said, do you know whose sword this is or what it's called? And I was like, Oathkeeper. And he was like, okay, it's yours for the day. And I was like, oh. Just imagine this many and then -1. It's 19. I got to go to the Pokemon Sun and Moon launch event in London, and I got to play in a battle royale against the guy from Eurogamer, a guy from Nintendo Life, and also Shigeki Morimoto, the guy who created Mew and is also the lead guy on the battle system.
Ooh, big hit.
I did pretty well at the fairground games they had as well. I managed to throw the ring onto the Skittle. I managed to get the red one rather than all of the white ones that surrounded it. So I got a bonus prize.
You have to get a red one to get the book.
Oh, there it is.
Where is it? I didn't even see it.
Did you not catch that?
Oh, it's there. Oh!
That was my first attempt.
First attempt.
That was my first attempt.
This is the time, okay? It's gonna happen. Don't hype it up. Go.
Number 20! I went to a really fun Halloween party. That was just one of the highlights of my year. I basically hadn't had my hair cut since, I think, September until still not now. We're in January, it's been months. But I basically got my hair gelled and it was spiked right the way up. And I was in this really awesome outfit that made it look like I was a swimmer that had been devoured by a shark. Number 21! Got that nailed now. I went to a place in Ireland called Shay's Dreamland. This was following a convention that I attended, which I'll talk about in a moment. But this place was incredible. There's a guy called Shay. He's designed this place, which kind of feels like a midway between Disneyland and also Sesame Street. I've got a little clip I can put on the screen of me doing a 360, stood in the very center of the location. But it's a place where people with disabilities and people without disabilities can come together and play, and they have things like wheelchair lifts, they have sets of stairs and things like that. That basically takes away any kind of barrier between kids being able to play together in all these really cool settings. And just hearing about the struggles that Shay went through in order to create this place, he did over 15 years of fundraising. The fact that he worked for so long to make his vision come true, I thought was insanely inspiring. And even on the wall of Shay's Dreamland, he has this really nice quote from himself that's written up there in almost like a mural, and it really resonated with me. It said, "You don't know the true value of a smile until you take part in creating one." I think that was it word for word, but I just thought that was really cool. Number 22. I had 2 birthdays, which is quite relevant for 22. I celebrated 2 birthdays. I had my actual one on April 7th, and then I also had one in late November as well, which was kind of the product of a prank that Mini Mooka had tried to pull on me. He had all of his stream audience message me, be like, "Oh, happy birthday," and then my audience were getting confused. I was a little confused. Friends of me were texting saying, "I'm so sorry that I forgot your birthday." It turns out it was just a prank, but we actually managed to flip it back on him, because we actually had, at the place I was staying, a massive confetti cannon and a cake that we could put a candle in, and I basically did a little Instagram post which just completely added to all of the confusion. It was great, and that for me was just such a highlight. Number 23, I think that's about right. I was part of a charity effort in December, which you'll probably recognise the name of by now. It's the Yogscast Jingle Jam. We live streamed every day in December. I did a couple of live streams as well, and I even took off my jumper, and another jumper, and another jumper, and another jumper, very oddly at one point. But that whole month ended up completing, and we raised over 2.5 million to be spread across 6 different charities, which is just insane. Number 24. We saw the return of the Christmas adventure. Even though it was very brief, even though it was a singular one-off video, it was still one of my favourite pieces of content from this year, just purely for the nostalgia hit. I really missed hanging out with the guys because I've been so stupidly busy this year. I hadn't really had a chance to talk to them, let alone hang out with them in the evenings and just do some casual gaming, so that video was really dear to me. And finally, number 25. The 25th thing that I did this year that is always going to stick with me is, for the very first time ever, I crowd surfed at a gig. So I went to go and see my friends, Area 11, that's Sparkles, Parv, Leo and Kogi. They played a gig at the Thekla, which is a boat of all things, which also doubles up as a venue, but they played in Bristol, and I actually got crowd surfed onto the stage and was there for the finale of the whole show. This was during the encore. I was in the middle of the mosh pit, like everyone's just like having a good go, everyone's bashing each other around, fists and elbows and knees are flying and all sorts of stuff, and then this guy in a kigurumi just yells at me, he's like, "Martin!" I'm like, oh god. What, have I hurt someone? What's going on? And he just sort of like is kneeling down in front of me like this. I'm like, do you want to fight, or are we going to do rugby or what? And then he's like, up, and I was like, what? And then I just sort of walked over to him, and he just literally just grabbed me and just lobbed me up, and I just ended up like surfing to the front of the stage. It was insane. So there we go. Those are 25 things that I did in 2016, and as always, I just wanted to say thank you, because a lot of those things I wouldn't have the time, the resources, or the money for if I wasn't doing this job and didn't have your guys' support. And having said that, I also wanted to apologise for 2016. For basically the entire last half of the year, I was away on so many trips that I felt like I wasn't creating very much content. I was creating videos, but nothing particularly special. I haven't live streamed since I think July or August of last year, and loads of other stuff just sort of fell to the wayside, but I had so many life experiences that I just wouldn't want to trade for anything. So here are my resolutions for 2017. The first one is I really want to get back into live streaming, so I want to go back to my usual Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday schedule as being set, and obviously doing other random streams around that on other days. And I think the Thursday one is actually going to be over on the Yogscast channel. Resolution number 2 is I want to get back into making music. I've got a parody that I've been sat on for ages. I've had concepts and ideas for songs that I just haven't sat down and written or implemented or, like, you know, soundboarded off of anybody else, but myself and Sparkles already have made one track. We've got the music down, we've got the concept down, we just need to write a couple lyrics, and that is already one song complete for the year. Another thing is conventions. I want to be a little bit more selective this year about which conventions I attend. I've absolutely adored both of the Mindventions that I've been to, and I actually have one coming up soon, so I'll put all the information on the screen right now. That one is happening in Peterborough in the next week or two, and then I'm also going to be at the new location in Dublin, Ireland in February next month. And as for other conventions this year, that's solely dependent on you guys. If in the comment section you want to let me know which of these conventions you're actually going to be attending, then I can make sure that I go to the ones where there's going to be a high volume of you there. So the first one is Comic-Con in London, the very next one that's coming up. We have got Insomnia in August, which is going to be the big summer one this year, and then also also Comic-Con in October or November, so later on in the year. Let me know which of those you're going to, and I'll be sure to read that. Resolution number 4 is I want to make sure that I start making more content rather than videos. So I sort of mentioned this a second ago. I want to take more time to put a little bit more extra production value into the videos, whether it be done in post-production with silly edits and zooms and jumps and music and sound effects and stuff like that, or if it's just a case of sprucing up something like the Mario Maker levels, and I do wagers or challenges or forfeits for certain different things. Just that little extra smidge to make those videos a bit more special for you. My 5th resolution, I hope I can do all of these. I want to get back to working on the second channel. I want to bring back things like the Stoke podcast. I want the weekly vlogs to return, or maybe bi-weekly vlogs. I want to get back to doing all Pokemon card unboxings, because look at all these. So I've got Elite Trainer boxes, an Evolutions Trainer box. I've even got an entire booster box worth of Steam Siege. And my 6th and final resolution is kind of like a very broad one, but I really want to do it, is I want to continue to work on myself. As in, I want to continue to push myself into places that I've never been before. I want to enhance my skills. I want to get a bloody haircut after 3 or 4 months and make sure that I'm just as happy in my professional life as I am currently in my personal life. It feels like all the stars are aligned, and in 2017 is going to be a really, really special year. So thank you so much for watching this video if you have so far. In the comment section below, I'd be really interested to hear what your resolutions are. And if on the 6th of January, as we're sat right now, if you've already broken said New Year's resolution, you might have done, or you might be really good and stuck to it. Let me know down below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. And I will see you all tomorrow when we get back into our usual business of gameplay videos. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.